So right now, all the talk when it comes to real estate is about this new incentive, 130,000 of an HST rebate. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to know what's going on about it, and that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm Boanka with the Compass team,
And it's Safraz with the Compass team.
and we're going to be talking about pre-construction, new builds, and just talking about what's been happening over time, how you're able to get great deals in the market, where the market for that currently is, and why the government is even helping with incentives like these. Now, Safraz, I think it was probably last week, you just helped somebody with a sale of this, and you came to me and you said, man, there was a lineup at this. Like, we haven't seen a lineup in pre-construction in so long. So I want you to tell a little bit about what this happened and how they even got to the point of being able to have a lineup.
So this project's interesting. It was in Markham. We haven't seen many projects, especially in the freehold space, release at all in the last quarter, right? Not many. Even all of last year, we haven't seen many. However, this one came out last week of March. So they were announcing it. Some builders, the government came out and said, hey, you know what, we're going to do an HST rebate. So it kind of piqued a lot of people's interest into this project. So this project is, I think, 7 phases. They're going to be building over 7 years, they said, at least. Might be 10 years. I received, because we're, platinum agents, so I received the price list a little early. We got all the details. I sent it to my client and I said, I think after April 1st, this is going to be a super hot product, just because the prices were already before they actually clarified that you're going to be able to get back the 130 potentially, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. So this is a master plan community.
It's a master plan community. They're building, a community center. They're building a school, parks, playgrounds for kids. They're building like a whole nother area, but it's still in prime Markham. Like 5 minutes away, you can get to the GO station. Which is really important.
Yeah, and if you're new to the channel, we appreciate you. Click the subscribe button. We've done videos about a master plan community, what it is, why it's even better and more beneficial to buy a master plan community. But yeah, just check out the pre-construction playlist. You'll be able to find out everything you need to know about the master plan community. But what else was like really good about the project?
So the project, in my opinion, for Markham, is price. So we were seeing 2,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, freehold. That's really important, right? Now you'll see a lot of condos, condo towns, but this was just a freehold property and community, and
no maintenance fee.
Which means no maintenance fee. And for 900K, right, before the rebates, over 2,000 square feet. And right, we always talk about pre-construction and resale, totally separate markets, different type of buyers. So, I was talking to my client, I said, hey, this looks very interesting. And if you were to factor in the potentially $130,000 rebate, you're like, compared to resale today, you're already winning. Like, I ran the comps for it. The minimum comp for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3 minutes away at all was $950. So looking at the 900 original purchase price, we're like, this is great value. I told him I think it's going to sell out maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months. But when I got there, I swear to God, lineup, everyone had lineups. People had checks ready, drafts ready. People had drafts ready to go in the builder's name. It was lined up. It was like pandemonium. People were going crazy. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? We got there. My client I thought there would be some interest. But this was, again, like you said, we haven't seen this in like 2 to 3 years at least.
Yeah. So now, back in the day, maybe like, 2021, 2019, even you could even say 2018, this is how it was almost all the time when you were going to like a good project that was priced well in a good community. And now we're starting to see that. And again, I think the biggest thing is if they're priced under resale prices, it makes it very easy for a buyer to say, hey, this is like, this is great value. Yeah, plus, absolutely. I'm going to get an extra $130,000 back on that. That makes it very, very easy for a buyer.
Yeah. So this project, the interesting thing is it's multiple builders. It's not just one builder, right? It's not Tridel just building. It's actually 7 builders coming together to build this master plan community. And the crazy thing is there was over about 300 units, about 300, all sold out. Every single one in less than 5 days. Every single unit was sold out in less. And that's like to say, if you told someone, 3 months ago, hey, there's going to be one project that they're going to sell 300 units, people would laugh at you.
100%.
Right? Like pre-con is not what it was, again, like you said, in 2021. Now they have to come up with all these incentives to even open it up to the buyers. Whereas in this one was such great value, in 5 days, every single unit sold.
Yeah.
Even the builder was like, we're not prepared for this.
Yeah.
I went to the sales center. Each builder had one sales rep. So the person that I was dealing with, he was like super overwhelmed. He was like, I've been here 6 days, like 18-hour days, because he's like, I have to process all this. The builder didn't anticipate it, neither did they, right? It was incredible to see.
Yeah, so this is just a really good unit, good building, good developer, and it was priced really well. But to just put things in perspective, in Q1, there was over 4,000 units that came to market, and all of those were unsold. So there was more units that also came to market, but there was 4,000 that came to market that have not been sold. So there's a lot of supply. But again, a lot of these products the ones I'm telling you about, those ones are not priced well. They were sold a long time ago, most likely at higher prices. Now, $130,000. Why is the government doing something like this? This is the biggest question. And the answer is because there's not a lot of new construction. There's not a lot of builders building now, because there's like the amount it costs us to build is going to be really high. Then the price that we're trying to sell it at, nobody wants to buy it. So the government is saying, we can see in the future there's going to be not enough homes. We're not going to have enough homes in the future. Yeah. What can we do now to spark it and make it so that people can start buying? And another thing about what happened in Q1, this was the first time in 30 years. This is a long time. The first time in 30 years that there was no new condo projects launched in a quarter. This is the first time it's happened in 30 years. Yep. So again, you can see like new construction is slowing down so much. And because new construction is slowing down a lot, we know in the future we're going to have a huge shortage of housing. And now the government is trying to do their best to really help with this. So, it's also very new. It's also very new, but from everything that we've done research on it, from everything how would you best describe this new HST rebate?
So the HST rebate that they officially put into place on April 1st still needs some approval and some direction on exactly how the buyer will get it, but they've confirmed that they will get it. So how it will work is, let's say you bought a place for $1 million, just to keep numbers simple. Within that $1 million, already there's an HST portion. So 13% of that $1 million goes straight to the government, okay? The federal and provincial, right? So HST goes straight to the government, and the government uses that money to, fund a lot of city items like parks, this, that, and the other. So what happens now is the government saying, we want to promote new buyers because there's not going to be enough units in 2029, 2030. So they're saying, instead of them taking it, the government, they're like, we're going to rebate it to you, right? 130,000. So there's still a lot of confusion because the government hasn't said, I'm going to give it to you in cash. I'm going to apply it to your mortgage, this, that, and the other. So we actually don't know yet. Nobody knows. Not even the government has explained how. But what they said is you will get back that amount on closing one of two ways. So between now and then, let's say it's 1.5 to 2 years to completion for this specific project. As an example, two things can happen. The government says, we're going to give the builders permission to apply it on closing. So on closing, you have to pay land transfer tax, you have to pay a few things. They're going to say, we're going to give you that 130, and the remainder of after all your costs, you could take that home. That could be option one. Option two, at $1 million as an example again, you close on it as if that money doesn't exist. You close on it, you get the keys, and then you submit a form to the government, and then within, typically 6 to 8 weeks, you will get a check for that amount. So one of the two will happen. Either way, you will get it. Nobody knows how yet.
And we were having an event, and one of the questions that somebody asked is, if we're buying pre-construction, why should we work with you guys? Why don't we just go straight to the builder, and they're probably going to give us a better price? And over time, I've started to realize this is what people actually think. So now, what is the number one reason or a couple of reasons of why you should work with a pre-construction expert compared to just going straight to the builder?
Okay. So, like when you're buying a car, you just go in there, you don't have an agent, you just go in, you buy, you negotiate, right? So with builders, typically, I would say like 99%, you're not negotiating price. So people think this agent's going to do the same thing as the person working for Tridel, as an example. But what you guys always need to remember is the person who works for Tridel or Ford or Mercedes or BMW or Acura, they work for the builder or the car developer, whatever it is. They work for the other side. They don't have your best interests in mind. Doesn't matter how well informed you may think you are, there's always something, the contract always supports the builder. So when you use an agent, first of all, it's free, right? It's free and there's benefits. So the benefits would be, right, we negotiate, terms. Terms are really important. We may not be able to negotiate the price. Sometimes we can, right? Terms. We can sometimes decrease the deposit. We can cap all fees. Okay, when I say cap all development fees, whenever you buy a pre-construction condo or townhome, there's a lot of fees involved. Why? Let's say they're building you a home. They're like, okay, we need to plant a tree now. We need to get you plumbing. We need to get you a utility meter. This, that, and the other. And the crazy thing is, when people don't know, they just go sign the dotted line because they're in a rush, right? There's 500 people outside. If you don't buy this, someone else is going to buy it. Yep. That's what the builder's sales rep is going to tell you. And guess what? You're like, it's maybe how much is it to plant a tree? You think it's like maybe $100? I've seen an actual use case. I have a client that we're selling their condo for. He didn't buy it through us. I met him because I'm selling his condo because we do a lot of pre-con reselling. And he's like, man, I was hit with $18,000. I was like, what? He's like, for a tree. They charge $18,000 for landscaping and a singular tree. And that's not even all. He has other development charges because he went straight to the developer and bought total over $50,000 in fees for buying it through the builder, because the builder's not going to tell you, hey, I can cap this for you. Builder's not going to say, hey, you know what, we'll change the deposit structure. Builder's going to say, you want to sign it? Perfect. Sign on the dotted line. It's a done deal. But had, this person used us free of charge, we would have 100% saved him that $50,000.
100%. And if he had have watched our pre-construction masterclass,
yeah, absolutely.
We have a pre-construction masterclass. It's about 25 minutes long, and we touch on every single thing you need to know. So even if you don't, for some reason, you don't want to work with us, go watch that, the pre-construction masterclass. You're gonna be so much more informed on what you need to know before buying a pre-construction. But if we are there to support you, you're going to get a lot more from it. The other thing as well, if you're buying a condo, you're going to have a 10-day cooling period. But when you're buying a freehold property, there's no cooling period.
Absolutely
there's no due diligence period. Sometimes that's something that we can ask for. Maybe they don't always include it, but that's something we can ask for. Then we take it to our lawyers, and we have lawyers who specialize in pre-construction. We take it to our lawyers, they review it, and they're going to tell you, here's everything that you need to know before buying. Here's what the development charges are going to be. But again, one of the biggest things that we want to do is help get those development charges capped, because you don't want it to be closing and you're thinking it's only going to be 5 or 10,000 and you get hit with 50,000. Where are you going to get that money from? You don't want these unexpected surprises. So again, that's one of the biggest reasons why you want to work with a professional and someone who specializes in pre-construction. And if you really just want to do it yourself, make sure to watch our pre-construction masterclass. It's in the pre-construction playlist.
Exactly. So we could have saved this client minimum $50K, right? We could have got better terms, better, there's so many little things that we could have done. We could have had our lawyer review it. So like you said, so the client that we just helped, it was a freehold, right? It's a contract. You sign the contract and it's done. But we were able to actually have our lawyers review it the same night. They sent us the contract to review because we were supposed to sign it the next day. I called our lawyer at 1 p.m. I was like, hey, can you review this? They said, how fast? I said, today, because we either are going to sign today at 7 p.m. or tomorrow at 11 a.m. Our lawyer got back to us, reviewed everything, said these are the potential issues that I have with it. These are everything as it is. What do you want to do? So then we went back to the builder. We negotiated a little bit more, mostly on the terms, right? And then client was happy because now he knows I'm not going to have to pay $50,000 for anything, right? We capped all the fees. The right to lease. He's allowed to lease during occupancy. We got him free assignment. He's allowed, if in case something happens, he could sell it before closing without any fees, right? These are, some people think, oh, it's only a couple $100. No, nothing is a couple $100.
No.
Everything is 5 digits, right? Assignment fees, I've seen it, $10,000, right? Putting in a tree, $15,000, $18,000, $25,000. Utility meet, all these fees, and the thing that I don't like about it, because it doesn't go towards your mortgage, that's understandable, right? It's not going towards making the unit better and upgrades. No. What's it going towards? Straight to maybe the builder's pocket or someone else along the line's pocket, and it's waste of money.
Yeah.
Right?
And how many pages would you say the average pre-construction agreement of purchase and sale is? Just a rough number.
About 200 pages at least.
Okay, so about 200 pages. I'm not going to read 200 pages. I will look through and find what I'm looking for in the 200 pages.
Absolutely.
Safraz, you're not going to read 200 pages.
Absolutely not.
And most people don't have a lawyer who specializes in this that they can just call on basically any time and say, hey, this is really important and we need to have this looked over to make sure that our client is protected. It's just that's hard to find, but these are some of the things that you're gonna get when working with somebody who specializes in pre-construction.
Absolutely. So those are the couple of things, right, that we talked about. The capping of fees is the number one thing. Why? Because it's a large sum of money, right? The right to assign. Some builders don't allow you to assign it, and in the last couple of years with the issues in pre-con dropping in value just with the general market, a lot of people got stuck because they couldn't even assign it even if they wanted to, right? So those are, like, I would say a couple of things. But another big thing, with us at the Compass team is we're platinum agents for 99% of builders. Unless they're like a super small time builder, we're platinum access. What does that mean? Whenever something, let's say, is releasing on April 1st, we'll get notified 3 to 4 weeks earlier. Sometimes the builders will do a presentation just for us to say, hey, you guys have sold so many units. Here's a presentation. These are the packages. And sometimes they'll give us better promos than the market promos. Why? Because, if you have a great relationship with these builders, sold tens of thousands of units over the years, they're going to give you a better deal because they know they're going to get quality agent, make it easy to work with, and quality buyers that will make sure that they have everything in order. And like one I did a couple months ago, they did an additional $5,000 in decor credits for our buyers just because we've done a lot of deals with them.
Yeah, and one of the kind of last things that I want to talk about is just when you're looking at these places, all you really have is a floor plan. You have a floor plan. You may have some mock-ups of what it's gonna look like, the sizes, but again, you want somebody who's in your best interest. That's the biggest thing that you're going to get, is working in your best interest to help make sure that what you're going to buy and what you're looking for is best for you. And you always have to remember, when you go into that sales center, when you go into the presentation center, they are looking out for the builder. What units do we need to sell? That's what there's some units that are just always going to sell because those are the best units. But next up, it comes to like, which ones do we got to sell? Oh, we got to sell this one. Hey, you know what? For this one, we'll give you a discount.
Exactly.
Why are you giving the discount on that one?
Yeah.
So those are things that you always got to make sure to keep in mind. But this is, it's again, like we talked about, this is very new. So this is just going to be the part one. We are going to do a part two where we're going to go deeper on it.
Absolutely.
Once we understand and know every single thing, because there's changes that are going to happen, and nothing is fully set in stone yet. That's the other thing as well, is like you have to make sure this is in the contract, whether it's through an amendment, whether it's through a Schedule A. Just make sure that you have that there. Safraz, is there anything you wanna add?
I would say, things in the freehold pre-construction market are definitely picking up overall. I was looking at projects prior to April 1st. I know a project with maybe 30 units, already priced decently well. They sold no units in like 3-4 months. Since April 1st, they've sold at least like 50% more or so. Just because now everybody's like, hey, I'm going to get back 130,000. Now it makes it cheaper than resale. Not all projects. That's also why, we do our research. We check the comps, right? Back in the days, back in the days, I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, pre-construction was cheaper than resale. That's why everybody got it. At one point, that flipped, where resale, pre-construction was more expensive. Now, for freehold, we're kind of in line, sometimes with the 130K rebate, sometimes without. So that really matters, right? Because if you're just in line, it's not as interesting. But if it's now 100K, 75K, 80K more of like a savings, makes more sense. So keep an eye open, right?
Yeah.
Things are, especially in the freehold, things are definitely already changing. And I think we will see that for this year and going into next.
Yeah, and the easiest thing to do, if you have any curiosity, you want any understanding at all, just book a discovery call. Click the link below, book a discovery call. There's no pressure. You just want to help understand, and there's always different options that we're able to give that most people you would never even think of or you don't know of, because this is what we do day in, day out. This is what we're looking at day in, day out. And there's a lot of information and things that we know that just the general public usually doesn't know. So yeah, set up a time to talk to us. If this is something that you like, give it a thumbs up. If you and your friends have been talking about this new HST rebate, share this link with them. And again, we're going to have a part 2 that's going to be coming soon. But I'm Bawanka with the Compass team.
And it's Safraz with the Compass team.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.